Got Pocket Jack. Boom. Jack the Ripper.
Oh, that's true.
There's another psycho killer. That one's real though. Fa 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 fa. Are you gonna get sued now?
Trick or treat, spooky humans. My name is Anthony,
And my name is Eric.
and we are the Board Game Dads here with another Dadcast specifically for Halloween. Ooh. We're going to treat this as sort of a kickoff to our series of Halloween videos that you can expect over the next few weeks, some details of which we will get into a little bit later. But before that, would you like to chat a little bit about Halloween? Eric, would you like to start with a little word association in terms of?
I would love to start with a little word association.
All right, I'm going to give you some Halloween type words, and you give me the first thing that pops into your mind. All right. Costume.
Party.
Orange.
Apple. Oh, does it have to be Halloween? I mean, you want the first thing that pops into my head? Or
Why
do you want like me
apple?
to take oranges and apples? I don't know. You say orange, I say apple.
Okay. All right.
Right. My mind doesn't go directly to the color. It goes to the word and then the fruit, which is both.
Interesting. Okay. All right. All right. Monster.
Mash.
All right. Best Halloween candy.
Man, that is a very difficult question. I love Hershey's milk chocolate.
Just
But
plain old Hershey bar.
plain old, no almonds, nothing, just a regular Hershey bar. But that's so I'll go out and spend money on that. If I go to the store and I want to get some candy, I get a Hershey bar. But on Halloween, you get to try all this different stuff for free. So it's kind of difficult to pick one. I would say whichever house gives out the big candy bars, that's my favorite. I don't care what it is, but when they give out the one that's like 5 or 6 inches long and like it's either a Snickers bar or Milky Way, that's my favorite because it's the biggest.
Of the variety pack that has, I guess Snickers, Three Musketeers, and Milky Way.
Right.
Snickers is my favorite. I like to have peanuts in chocolate.
I like the Milky Way. Snickers are good, but I prefer it without the peanuts. And I think the Three Musketeers is just a little too rich.
It's my least favorite out of those three as well.
Do you know what the most popular candy for Halloween is?
Ooh. Do you know the answer to this?
I do know the answer. I know the top three in order.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. M&M's. Number 3. Cool.
Number 3.
All right. Let's see. Man. I might have to go with.
Now, while you're thinking, just back to your Halloween candy question a minute ago.
Yeah.
Buying Halloween candy, the stuff that I want to hold in reserve and not give out at first, and then if we don't get enough trick-or-treaters, I get to keep it all, are like the Sour Patch Kids and Swedish Fish variety bag that we get. We'll hold off on a few of those because I don't buy those otherwise, and they're delicious.
Okay.
All right, got another guess?
I'm gonna say Snickers.
Snickers is not in the top 3.
Okay. I'm curious now if they're all chocolate or
the second one is not chocolate.
And candy. Skittles?
Skittles is number 2.
Yeah. All right. Number 1, got to be back to chocolate.
Number 1's chocolate.
Huh.
But it's not just chocolate, right? So you can eliminate the Hershey bar.
In a way, I want it to be Butterfinger, but I don't think it is.
No, but I think you're close.
Kit Kat.
That is incorrect. You get one more guess? You want me to just tell you? I'm wasting these people's time out here.
Yeah, well, we can edit this part out later. No, I really want to know now. One more guess.
One more guess.
Oh, how about
Before you take that guess, just think about Halloween, this candy, and like they kind of go together. Like the color scheme goes together.
Reese's.
Yeah, Reese's peanut butter cups
Yeah,
number one.
yeah,
It's almost Halloween. It's the first week of October, so we
it
haven't
is.
really decorated that much up here. So expect, I got my Snoopy, my Snoop, one of my Snoopy shirts on. So I got a little bit, but as we progress through these next few videos, I'm gonna have more and more cool decorations up on this mantle right here. Or maybe I'll
Good.
shoot it or I'll record in front of the game shelf and I'll keep a couple empty and I'll put some weird stuff in there.
I expect an inflatable by the last video.
We don't have any of those.
Okay, okay.
We've never had any of those. But I saw today at Target they had the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Which brings me to a point. At some point in our lives, movies and TV shows such as Ghostbusters and Beetlejuice, and even like a lot of comic book movies and stuff are now very synonymous with Halloween. Like the Beetlejuice music, it's always going to be playing
That's
around
true.
Halloween time.
That's true.
Everybody wants to dress up as superheroes because they're real popular now. And it's weird how like it started with like bats and spiders and cobwebs and witches and stuff like that, and now it's just evolved into like anything remotely like spooky or dark, and that's Halloween flavor, right? So
Yeah,
there's a ton of games that could be based on anything remotely creepy or evil. Like there's always like some evil and some bad, and like
true, true.
and you can just take that and be like, oh yeah, well this is Halloween theme because it's kind of spooky, and you're not wrong.
Yeah, and every like Halloween special or cartoon or sitcom episode back in the day covered like a whole bunch of different genres of stuff too. So
Oh yeah,
even something like aliens are now like scary, right? Like
yep. The progression of like Halloween monsters, right? You started off with like the the classic monsters, right? The universal monsters, which will
yeah,
be next week's video. So we're not going to talk about that anymore. And then after that, you got like the horror, sci-fi horror, like the arachnophobia and the killer clowns and stuff like that, where everything's like there's no rules. There's just hold on. There's a gnat in here, man. I'm gonna get it, or I'm gonna knock my beer over trying. Anyway, um, ghosts, aliens, Cthulhu, like zombies.
mm,
There's just a ton of different themes that people can talk about. So we're going to talk about a little bit about that a little later. What have you been playing? Have you played any Halloween games yet? I know it's just the first week of October.
we have actually. We played Castle Party and the Nightmare Before Christmas game called
Oh, nice.
Making Christmas,
So is that a
which,
Halloween game or a Christmas game though?
well, is it a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie?
It's both.
Right. So it's both.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's
I mean,
Halloween Town. The movie's a lot longer than the game. If it's solely Christmas and there's not a lot of mention of Halloween, then
well, maybe I'll talk about that game in a little more detail in one of the
right.
future videos.
Maybe I should
So,
stop pushing you on that because I already knew that. Um, well, anything else? Let me see. I don't know if I've played anything remotely Halloween. I have not really played
no,
anything Halloween
anything else
yet.
spooky besides those two? I don't think so. Let's see what had. Oh, we finally played Sagrada.
Okay, nice.
So we played it over Zoom. So
Okay,
our friends Steve and Mariella taught it to us because we owned it and hadn't opened it yet, and
so
it
you
was.
both have to have a copy of the game to play, right?
You do, yeah,
Okay,
because there's a
that
there's a
makes
ton
sense
of
because you have
dice.
that thing in front of you.
Yeah, and the recessed board with little squares in it. So it was a little kind of fiddly over Zoom in
Okay,
that you roll, at least in a four-player game, 11 dice, I think. So, one of us would roll and be like, okay, I got, a 3, 4 green, and then like two blue ones and a blue two, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, now, and the other person's flipping them over to those sides.
right.
You wouldn't
You don't
have
just
to do
roll
it.
them under another camera.
You could do that. This was a
Okay,
very like impromptu thing. Definitely would have probably set that up that way next time for that
okay,
reason. But so much fun, really good game. We played it again the next night, just Lauren and I. I like it.
nice.
It's
Now,
just puzzly enough, but pretty fun.
without getting too far into this game, how would you compare this? Because I haven't played it, but how would you compare it to Azul and Role Player? Like, where does it kind of fall? Because it's similar to both of those, right? From what I've heard or from what I'm to understand.
It's similar to both. I don't remember too much about Role Player in terms of the restrictions on which dice you could place where on the board. I'm sure there are some. I just don't remember. Whereas Azul, the tiles that you're placing there is a little bit of a like condition on where they can go.
Right.
Though the flip side of the board, I think in Azul is just all free fall. I think, free form rather. Um, but I'd say it's a little more thinky than Azul.
Okay.
I think
Nice.
because everybody's playing a different setup, so not everyone's going for the same dice necessarily. So yeah, Sagrada was cool. I heard there's a couple expansions already, so maybe if those are around, I'll pick that up. I think Sagrada was that was one of the ones we got for our board game subscription box.
Oh, nice. Cool. All right. So we did a video recently about pirates, and I talked about a game, Rattle Battle, Grab the Loot. We played that recently. So I'm just going to mention it quickly. If you want to know anything about it, go back and watch the video. What I will tell you is that it's got really great potential.
Okay.
And if you can house rule a few things, and you don't mind doing that, then you can make this a great experience. Otherwise, it's clunky,
Hmm.
or I'm dumb. It could be a little bit of both. We also played a game, Reavers of Midgard. My wife had got me for that for my birthday last October, and we just never really had a chance to play it. There's so many bits and pieces and everything, and it was very intimidating. And then we had a second. She was pregnant, and then we had a kid, and then we finally were like, all right, let's try this game. And it was real smooth. There wasn't a lot of like looking stuff up. You read the rule book once, you understand everything, you can play through the game. Maybe you go back because you forgot something, but it wasn't a lot of, oh, now there's that. Oh wait, but what happened? And then you got to go back and read something and read between the lines.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was real cool. Can't wait to get that one to the table again.
So would you say it? I mean, it sounds like it was easier than it looked like it was going to be.
I don't think it looked difficult.
Okay.
Just learning it and setting it up and learning it, and like we don't always want to throw 2 or 3 hours into a board game. Learn, especially when one person's reading, one person's sitting there and trying to follow, and so that can be really annoying. And that was very limited in this. This was, a real easy setup, learn, play.
Gotcha.
So that was cool. We also played The Mind,
Hmm.
which well, first time we played it, and we just got it recently. And we played it, and it was cool. It's a lot of shuffling. It's a little
Mm.
tedious, but it was fun. We played it. It's not a great two-player game. I guess it's okay.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like a different game almost.
Yeah, but I don't regret buying it. And we'll
That's cool.
play it.
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah,
fast, right? So you can get it
yeah.
pretty quickly.
You bring it to a diner or something, waiting for your food.
That's a good point. I
What about
had
you?
I had a whole bunch of gaming going on back in September because I was fortunate enough to travel to the Dice Tower retreat. I'm not going to go into super amount of detail on that in this video because I do have a couple of videos up about that already. So be sure to check that out. And when I say already, maybe not at the time that you're watching this, but keep an eye out for them because they will be there for sure. But I do want to mention two games quickly because they're both games that I've often seen the Dice Tower folks play during like their live streams and their marathons and things like that. And they're both kind of older games at this point, and I got to play both of them, which was pretty cool. The first one is Tumbling Dice,
Hmm.
which is just you roll them down this like ramp kind of thing, is multiple step thing.
I saw some video of people doing that. They were just like walking by, throwing some dice, and I
Yeah,
kept on moving. And then
yep.
somebody else would go, and I was like, "This looks
Just
amazing."
walked around the table. It was
Yeah.
so much fun. And Tom's got, I think the game comes with just a bunch of six-sided dice, I think. But Tom's got like sets that have other shapes. There's a couple D20s in there too, so you can get some crazy scores at the end of this. But yeah, just that experience of walking around the table, chuck, walk, chuck, chuck. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
And then the other one that I got to play that I've seen them play often is Time's Up, which is a great party game. And, I wanted to play a party game at the retreat because I feel like it's been so long since we've played them. It's been so long since we've had a big enough group to play a game that kind of warrants that, right? Like I'm not going to play Spyfall with like 4 people. It's stupid. But Time's Up, we had like I think 12, 14 people, so like
Nice.
2 big teams. And again, everybody just standing in a big circle, and it was it was a lot of fun. We were up. It was the last game of the night. We were up super late playing it, so it got like real goofy and just out of control fast. And they kept playing after we went to bed, which is insane. But very fun game. Would definitely play it anytime as long as there was a good amount of people involved.
I'm a little surprised that you said Time's Up instead of Pitch Car. Because I know Tom Vassel's got like this big pitch car track, and
Yeah,
they set that up at a lot of conventions. I'd be super excited to play that.
they had it there. We didn't sign up. You could have signed up for it. I don't know.
Can't
I
play them all, man.
can't play them all. We
Nope.
we watched a good amount of it, which was
Nice.
fun, and I took some video of it as well. The thing about the pitch car with that many people, I felt like was there's going to be like 3, 4 people that are kind of always going to be in the lead, and everyone else is going to have like kind of like a huge bottleneck where you can flick the little car and go like an inch or like fly off the track, and there's like 5 other things right in front of you. So I don't know. I think if you were way far back, I might have lost its luster after a while, but
Got it.
maybe next year.
All right. So something that we've been trying to do when playing board games, we've been trying to find games that we haven't played in a while, possibly games that we haven't played since we started writing in the book.
Ah,
Which so we played Stuffed Fables, which we have written in the book, but we played that again. We hadn't played that in a while. We got a set of Watch back to the table. Hadn't played that one in a while. Favor of the Pharaoh. So we got to have a lot of fun with some of these games that have been just sitting on a shelf doing nothing because we keep playing Marvel Champions. We've also played Marvel Champions. So we played Aeons End. We lost horribly, and we've lost horribly the last few times that we've played this game.
oh,
I think we're done. I think it's going to go on the shelf that we don't look at all the time to think about what games we're going to play. It's just
that's a
like I
new
don't.
kind of shelf of shame.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because it's such a cool premise, but I don't want to just do something to make it easier. So,
Why you
well,
do that with every other game that you think is too hard?
right. So I did everything I could within the rules for this one to
Okay.
make it as simple as possible. Like I chose the like the 9 cards instead of just picking them randomly, and we didn't have a chance. Like
Mm.
we got pummeled, and that's not fun. Like the game is fun, and then all of a sudden it becomes aggravating, and then that's not fun anymore. And then quitting the game because we're losing is is I hate doing that. Like
That's
I don't
also
mind
not fun.
restarting. I don't mind restarting, but when we're like, let's just stop this, pack it up, get rid of it. That's not fun. And then we go into the next game. We're like, all right, fine, let's play. Happy fluffy puppy. Like something. And we're just angry about the last situation. Um, but yeah, that happened. We didn't enjoy
Okay.
that.
All right.
I got 2 more games that I want to talk about real quick. One of them is Marvel United X-Men. I've been waiting for this one for a while. It's got a ton of add-ons that we don't get for another, I don't know, 6 months or so. So we just got the base game. I've never played Marvel United before, so I was really excited about this, and it was great. First play, and I played it now twice solo, once with Melissa.
Okay.
And the solos that I played, I was just playing a 2-player game, not like whatever the solo adventure is specific to the game, just to kind of learn how to play when eventually me and Melissa played. And we got beat pretty bad the first time, or I did. And then the second time, I started to learn, I guess, how the game works, and then I won. And then the third time, me and Melissa played, and we won. And like we kind of figured out what to focus on, what to ignore.
So is it similar to Marvel Champions in that you're playing against like kind of like a single villain together
Yeah,
as a team?
it's
Okay.
it's similar to Marvel Champ. It's not that kind of a deck builder game.
Right.
It's more of like you get a hand of 3 or 4 cards. The cool part of the cooperation in this is that whenever you play down a card, other than the first turn, whenever you play down a card on your turn, you're going to do whatever it says on the card. And you're going to do the action or 2 actions listed on the previous card played. So if Melissa plays a card, she does her
Mhm.
turn, does something, and then it's my turn. I play a card, and I get to do whatever it says on the card. Plus, I get to do most of what it says on Melissa's card. There's extra
That's
stuff that I
cool.
can't do. So yeah, that's different. It's got a unique feel to it. I can't really think of any games that do that. So, and you know how much I love different types of cooperation in games. All right, and the last game, I'm running out of breath here. I'm talking about X-Men United. Last game I want to talk about that we just got, Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. I've never played Gloomhaven. We just set this game up like last night, and we played through the first scenario. We love it. So
Okay, great.
yeah, we're gonna play this a few times before packing it up, putting it on the shelf, and forgetting about it. We'll probably we'll probably get this off the shelf frequently, sort of like with Marvel Champions, because we're both really, really enjoying the game, and it's fun.
All right, so back to the main topic here, which is we're kicking off the spooky season here, and it's Halloween themed games. Again, we have a whole bunch of videos coming up after this one that are going to focus on specific themes. Eric, do you want to talk about what those themes are, or should we do that later and just talk about some general?
Oh, let's talk about it now.
Okay,
So,
so next week's is our classic monsters, correct?
right. So
All right.
that's going to be monsters that were talked about pre 1960s. So, like the Universal monsters and everything from that era and
hmm
before.
hmm Okay, and after that, we're doing something with Chris.
After that, we're doing the haunted houses. Yeah,
Right.
with Chris. So we're gonna have a bunch of games to talk about for that.
And then we'll wrap it up with
Uh,
Halloween
so
night.
yeah, like the Halloween night games, the games that you're going to be playing Halloween night. Either they're your favorite of this genre of spooky game, or it's just very apropos with the theme. It's specific to Halloween,
Mm,
or it's got kids trick or treating. So yeah, that's what else are you going to play on Halloween night,
yeah, it's perfect.
right?
So those three themes sort of aside, there are still no shortage of spooky type games here. So Eric, what kind of games or what specific games do you like to bring out around Halloween time?
Well, we like to bring out a whole bunch of different games around Halloween time, and we're going to talk about a bunch of these in the coming weeks. But some of the games that we're not going to talk about that we're definitely going to bring to the table this month. Uh, Dead of Winter is one of them. I know it's not winter; it's still fall, but it's our favorite zombie game, and zombies are now part of Halloween.
A
But
big part.
yeah, but that's one of our favorites.
Yeah, I have a zombie game that's one of the older games in my collection, and last year did not get to the table, and I vowed internally to get it to the table this year because I don't know if it needs to be in the collection still. So I want to get it played again to see how I feel. I should
Right.
tell you the name of the game, which is Last Night on Earth. I believe you've played this with me
Hmm.
a few years back. It's a very, like B movie type game with like the characters and the cards and characters are photographs of real people, not painted art or anything like that. But it's like a typical, zombie movie. There's a couple different scenarios, and it's one player can be the zombies versus multiple players as the heroes, and or vice versa. You do two on two. Some cool minis, some pretty nice components. Really, it's got its own soundtrack as well, which probably did not hold up very well after all these years. Plus, I don't even know where I would play it because I don't think I have a CD player in the house. So there's that. Just play some good old spooky regular music. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
Last Night on Earth is the only kind of big zombie game I have that has like minis and stuff. I don't have Zombicide or any of those variations.
Yeah, Dead of Winter's got like little cardboard standees.
Mm,
Um, I do want to go back real quick and touch on something that you said about Halloween music.
mm,
I don't know how I forgot to talk about Halloween music before. It's one of the best parts about Halloween is that you have, for me, there's a few hundred songs that I have a playlist of and I listen to every Halloween. And there's just so much cool music to listen to that really kind of gets you in that like the creepy, and it's dark now and the trees are losing their
mm.
leaves. They all look spooky towards the end of October, especially. So like it's a really cool feeling. Something else about the holiday of Halloween that I wanted to bring up is that it's the second most decorated holiday, right? Like outdoor and stores and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Christmas is the first, or winter, whatever you want to. People sometimes just put up winter lights or stuff like that,
Yeah.
I guess. But like that end of the season, that's the biggest. Halloween's very easily the second biggest. A lot of people put up a ton of stuff,
Yeah.
and the people that don't, as a kid, especially when you go into the houses and they got their lights off and they're not home, you're like, these people hate children.
Yeah.
Like, why else wouldn't they decorate and be excited to give me candy? This is terrible. These people hate kids.
Or they had that sign that's like not home, but like you saw their TV on. It's like, oh,
Yep.
come on, man.
How about another Halloween theme of like the modern monsters? Something like Cthulhu.
Yeah, there are a ton of Cthulhu games. In fact, I'd be interested to know stats on how many games of the theme there were, specifically zombies versus Cthulhu, because I feel like
Mm.
those are the two big ones, right? Um, I have very little knowledge of the Cthulhu mythos overall, besides what I've seen in games and like watching Stranger Things. But I do have a game called Tides of Madness, which is a cool two-player only drafting game that has some really vivid Cthulhu artwork on them. So it's
Well,
pretty
you have
cool.
don't you have Elder Sign or one of the Relic or
I
something?
used to have Elder Sign. I actually got
Oh,
rid of it.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
We have
Didn't get played that
Arkham Horror
much,
the cart, Arkham Horror LCG,
right?
and then another game called Big Book of Madness, which are both that Cthulhu is
That's
coming
a fun
out or he's
game. I like
already
that one.
there. Which one? Big Book of
Big Book of
Madness.
Madness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that was a
cooperative.
lot of
So
fun.
well, they're both
Mhm.
cooperative, actually.
How about a little history lesson here on
Sure.
I have a little tidbit about the origins of the Jack O' Lantern. So any tidbits you might know bring to the table about that?
Wasn't it like to get rid of evil spirits? And I thought it like started in like with squash or something. Maybe I don't know in Holland,
It definitely was not pumpkins at first.
right?
You'll be happy to hear that it's an Irish myth, actually.
Oh, I should have known
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So essentially, there were no pumpkins in Ireland, I guess,
So
or there might
potatoes.
not be. Potatoes and turnips
Oh,
were the big
turnips.
thing.
Is a turnip a squash? Do I get points for that? It feels like it should be a squash.
No,
Probably a
doesn't it?
root vegetable.
Yeah, turnips grow underground, I think. Yeah, it's not a squash. Anyway, the legend in Irish folklore is of Stingy Jack. So allegedly, Stingy Jack, and I'm reading this right from the History Channel website, so it must be true because ancient aliens and all that. Uh, Stingy Jack invited the devil to have a drink with him. Sounds about right. But because he's Stingy Jack, he doesn't want to pay for the drink, so he convinces the devil. And right away, and this story is BS, right? Because come on, you're not going to trick the devil,
Just
Stingy Jack.
finish the story. I want to know how he tricks the devil.
It doesn't say. It
Oh,
says that he convinced the devil to turn himself into a coin so that Jack could buy drinks for them. And then once he got the drink, he decided to just keep the money and put it in his pocket next to a silver cross, which prevented the devil from turning back into his devilish form. Blah, blah, blah. A bunch of other stuff happened. And then next year, Jack did the same thing, tricked him in a different way, something about climbing into a tree, whatever, whatever. Anyway, eventually Jack dies. God was like, "No, you're not getting into heaven because of all this weird stuff you did." And the devil was like, "Hell no, you tricked me. You're not getting into hell either." Okay. And so he just has this burning coal to light his way in this eternal darkness, basically wandering nowhere and everywhere at the same time.
so did somebody interview this guy to find out what God and the devil said to him, and that those conversations took place, or like how does that part of the story get made up?
I don't
Does
have
this
an
guy
answer
come back
for
as
you
an
on that one.
apparition and be like, "Oh my God, I had this conversation with God," and he was like, "No, I don't want you." I had this conversation with the devil. He's like, "No, I don't want you," and I'm like, "Where do I go?" And they're like, "Make a pumpkin." I
But basically,
Irish people drink a lot.
when Irish immigrants came to America, they discovered that there's these things called pumpkins, which turned out to be even better than potatoes or turnips to make these uh, lit lantern type things. Thus, the jack o' lantern. I digress.
There is a game called Subterra, and there's some sort of like monster in it. And it doesn't have like a picture of it, and it's like a black circle or a blue circle or something that depicts it on the board.
Hmm.
But that's like another, like underground monster kind of thing that you could. It doesn't feel Halloweeny, but it does feel like we're trying to get away from this monster because that's
Hmm.
one of the objects of the game. So that's the kind of game that you also could play around Halloween time. There's one more TV trope, right? For Halloween movies that people watch every year, and that's
Uh,
like the psycho slasher flick. The Mike Myers and the Freddy and Jason stuff like that. I don't have a lot of. I never watched a lot of those movies in the first place. I don't have a lot of games about that kind of thing that I can think of.
yeah, I
Um,
don't either. I know there's a couple of Friday the 13th based games, I think.
all right. I think that's it. I got a couple of things that I didn't mention. So, just real quick about the slasher films and like the real creepy Halloween movies and stuff like that. I want no part of that.
Okay.
I'll take Peanuts, The Simpsons, Treehouse of Horrors, um, Goosebumps and Casper the Friendly Ghost. Like I'll take all those friendly, cheeky, kind of like kids, family, sort of scary at times. Hocus Pocus, another one. I'll take all those
Mm.
movies instead of some horror slasher flick or anything like that. I would rather enjoy it and not worry about like if my kids are going to have nightmares. That's
So
right. I blamed it on my kids. I will have
besides
nightmares.
besides Peanuts, the Charlie Brown Halloween special, any other
Garfield.
cartoon specials stand out? Garfield was a
Garfield.
real good one.
That
Yeah,
was creepy though.
yeah. That was it
That
with the
was
pirates.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you go back and watch that, you'd be like, huh, this is pretty scary. I'm sure there's other ones, but off the top of my head, those are the big two: Peanuts and Garfield. There is a comic book panel, like something that I vividly remember from a comic book. I don't know which one, but it was a DC issue, and like Batman and Green Arrow are just walking down the street in their costumes because it's Halloween, and they're like, like we just walk down the street in our costumes, and everybody's dressed up as like superheroes, and they just kind of like walk past each other, and they're like Bruce, Ollie, they just keep going, and I wish I could find that because I was flabbergasted. I thought that was so awesome.
You've had some pretty good Halloween costumes over the years. Maybe
I
you should
have.
touch on a few favorites.
Sure, I have some favorites. All right, I was Wolverine.
Mhm.
I made retractable claws. That was awesome. I was Rick Vaughn from Major League one year.
Oh, I
I was
forgot about that one.
Indiana Jones,
Yeah,
Beetlejuice,
John McClane.
John McClane from Die Hard,
That was a good one.
and then Han Solo. So, like, basically, I took Halloween for a few years as an adult, and I was like, who are like my like TV and
Which Harrison Ford
idols,
character can I be this year?
right? Yeah, I gotta be Indiana Jones. I gotta be Han Solo. There's no more, but like, I got the two good ones. I got John McClane. I gotta find another Bruce Willis character to be.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's been some good ones. And this year for Halloween, last year Zoe was a butterfly. This year she's going to be a skunk. Yeah,
I
that's
hope
right.
she farts a lot.
I hope one of us does. What about your kids?
So last year, so a couple, the street over from us, one of our friends, AJ's friend, he's like a day younger than him. And last year they were Mario and Luigi because they both had the same like
Right.
blue push car thing. So that was pretty funny.
Yep.
This year they're supposed to do Paw Patrol, but I don't know. I know his friend Joey watches it. I don't know if AJ really watches it. I've never seen him watch it really more than like 30 seconds, but I don't know. He might be one of those apparently. And Gabriella, I don't know. I
Right.
said she should be Chewbacca because she really makes these crazy rolling nasally sounds lately. So it's a little fur bucket on there.
Yeah. Logan is going to be the Incredible Hulk. He's got like the little onesie. We got the purple pants for him, and then he just gets so mad sometimes.
Yeah, you gotta get a good photo of him
Yeah.
like really mad.
And then maybe next year we're gonna probably try to do him as Hulk Hogan, so we can call him Hulk Logan, and just like have him with like a little mustache and everything. Be cool.
He
Hulkamania shirt.
will probably be Wolverine some year, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, maybe
Oh
even more
yeah,
than once.
absolutely.
All right, folks. Well, we've tugged on your ear long enough. Thanks for sticking with us. And obviously, we would love to hear from you about some of your favorite Halloween games and some favorite Halloween costumes, perhaps, that you've had or plan on having. Anything, really, we'd love to hear from you. And please like and subscribe to Board Game Dads. Check out all the great content. Eric, anything you'd like to add before we close out?
Yes, if you are still watching this, thank you. Make sure you watch the videos for the next 3 weeks. All Halloween, going to be much better than this. We're going to have real games to talk about, where we talk about them, we narrow them down, and we talk about specifics, and we have pictures. But it's not going to be as much fun.
for for us or for them?
I don't know. You tell us. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.